Brian? Oh. Okay, I think I got it off. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, first of all, hi everybody. How are you? Getting this ready to go here. There's been a few changes, not a lot. Finalizing some numbers for everybody to review. As far as the revenue, not a lot of that changed. It does look awfully large, but do remember that the general fund, there's approximately 6.5 million in carry forward grants. And approximately 1 million in carry forward projects. So some of the projects that didn't happen this year, yay, we call them a carry forward, and they get lumped into this year. And so there was a bit of an increase, but down at, where are you? There it is. 10,39999, the unassigned fund balance. Prior discussions of the budget, I had a great big huge number in there. I wasn't going to let Michael spend all that. But we needed to get kind of a good accurate idea of what is in savings. So now that's been reduced, and I'm pretty comfortable with 4,176,643 as potential transfers that might come out of the unassigned fund balance. Still some decisions about lots of things to be made, but I'm comfortable that we should be about that, probably below, but that's big updates. So we've got to change from 4176. Right. Mm-hmm. And then the number below it, is that just, that's a subtotal? That's a sub, yeah. That is a subtotal, because the one below that, the 12,978, that one picks up all of the ones up above. If you look where I'm scrolling up to on the screen, oops, wait a minute, where am I? You could see them highlighted. Those are the sub, that's the 12. Okay. So that was the big change there. Just wanted to make everybody aware, the list of capital projects, of course, the St. Louis Landing housing project, Clayton's Court infrastructure, which we have been making some good progress on the design. As a matter of fact, I did do a request from DOLA to reimburse for some of those design costs. That grant is a 75% reimbursement. We've got the sidewalks. Paul's been working on the RFPs for the sidewalks and the town hall improvements and the public bathroom access in the back of the building to help make picnic in the park more pleasant than a good to go porta potty. And then also the bike park. So we've come up with nothing's changed up in the town board. I've pretty well gone over those enough times that I know about, where the police grants and age to, the grants to all of the grants to the agencies, intergovernmental agreements, and the Fraser Winter Park Police Department are all, that is pretty close to their estimated amount. I may be rounded up just a wee bit. So then further down,
So, a question. So we talked about the chamber and there seemed to be some play in that
yeah,
number.
oh, Peggy had asked a question about the chamber. We have not been in an annual contract with them since 2017. But Sarah Wick got in touch with the chamber. They've worked out an intergovernmental agreement. We pay them $15,000 a year, renewable each year. And that's what they have worked out. And that's all we're paying them for this year. And then they're going to send the renewal. And we do not anticipate that to increase. Haven't heard anything that, it should remain the same, and then we'll renew it and pay them for next year. And that's all we've been contributing to the chamber.
So is that supposed to be a line item of
No, that is in her marketing.
marketing?
That is in marketing.
Okay.
Have they presented any ideas for increased benefits if that budget goes up?
No, I haven't, I should
I
have.
asked Catherine the other day, and so she made this phone call, and apparently, because I said, I thought we would be interested in upping the ante and
Yeah,
becoming more active in the chamber. So,
I think it ultimately comes down to management of events. Right now, we're managing all of our events. That's typically what I think we would pay anything more for. Right now, we're getting advertising for our businesses. Sorry. Advertising for the business to the chamber. We have a link to the Explore Fraser from their homepage. Those are really the two key items. They still continue to do highlights on Fraser businesses as they do Winter Park businesses. They do kind of do these random highlights throughout the year. But yeah, that's really it right now. They were advertising our events for us anyway. And so some of this is already paying for things that services they've already been providing, in addition to just linking that Explore Fraser to our homepage or to their homepage.
well, we still don't have a seat at the table. So I was wondering how much that costs.
To be on the board,
Yep.
I can talk to Catherine about that. I agree.
Yeah.
hey Larry, we can keep going.
Okay, so yeah, and then the 107 Eisenhower, that's 10,45670 line item. That is for the proposed renovations. That's $475,000. And then we've also included in the 10,45673 for 153 Fraser here. That includes the updates to the ramp and the entryway to the rear west bathrooms.
And I'll do a snow shed steeple.
Oh, and the snow shed and the awning over the front. So that's everything.
And 107 is the Green Church.
Yes.
Used to be known as Church of What's Happening.
Or
125, so we're 153. Well, it works like
no,
125.
107. Yeah, 107 Eisenhower is the historic church. So yeah, the old girl needs a lot. So not a lot, there really weren't any changes in the public works. I think we had discussed prior, the street improvements were increased. That was the carryover from 2024 plus $150,000 of flat work. And that's the 10,60725. And then the 10,60730, the capital projects. This is Clayton Court infrastructure, the design for the new shop up at 6W up by the drop. Clayton Court, all of those big guys down there. Not necessarily the church phase one is up under the church. So this is all of the upcoming projects, capital projects that Paul's working diligently to get going for next year.
Do we? I assume a large portion of that 4.8 million is grants. Do we have an idea of how much?
Yeah, there was
Percent?
there's an over $2 million grant for Clayton's Court. That's up in grants. Let me see. I think I split those out. Let me zoom
Yeah, I
back.
figured it was accounted for
Yeah,
somewhere, but that's the where the expense.
So that includes St. Louis Landing, Clayton's Court, about all the grants except for the bike park is down in the bike park.
And the public works facilities was 200,000, so we're budgeting 400,000 because it was a 1-to-1 match for the design.
Yeah,
And the goal with the public works facility is really to try to get through to kind of a basic site plan so that we can have something of substance that we can work with a consultant who can look into certificates of participation or whatever financial strategy makes the most sense for public works facilities. And then we would be budgeting for 2026, likely for whatever that payment looks like. If it's a COP issuance, maybe a 700,000 to 750,000 a year for new public works facilities. We will be budgeting that for the next year's budget. And we did discuss that with our auditor as well, and just kind of got his opinion on some things. And he feels like we're in a good position to support that type of payment.
Oh, one thing that I did adjust and after discussion with Julie and Peggy at the Budget Commission meeting over in 1095-110. Last year I didn't know what I was doing. This year I kind of sort of know what I'm doing. But I zeroed those out because those salaries, they're really not an expense to the town. Those are reimbursed to the they're reimbursed from the JFOC. So it's really a net zero. So I agreed, contemplated, did a lot of accounting thinking and went, yeah, that makes sense. Because we really don't carry the expense. As a matter of fact, I catch it up to make sure that we're getting paid back from the JFOC during the year. So there's no reason to carry expenditures there.
Which one was that?
It's 1095-110. Yeah, I probably could say something, put a note in there would probably be a good idea. The state really doesn't care, but yeah, but it would have helped me last year if I had a little bit more knowledge about what was going on with all of the accounts. I do now. So then when you get down to the fund revenue totals, it's come down, but the fund revenue totals, that's the old revenue, that's the transfers, $18,605,233. The new revenue is all the sales taxes and all the tax collections and contributions, 12,978,590. General fund expenditure totals are 16,283,564. And that does include all of those capital projects that we're planning on. So, the revenue over expenditures, with good proper budgeting and spending and everything, we could be looking at having $2,321,669 revenue over expenditures, or technically town profit. So not bad shape. And then covering all of the reserves and oops.
Oh, sure.
Oh, people were. Yeah. Can I? Just gonna let me do something magical like print from here for you guys? No.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay. I'll print you more copies. Sorry, it's. Oh, come on, stop it.
How do we get our affordable housing insurance back up?
Hold on just a second. Now it won't get back.
Okay, that's a good question. From what we had in previous, I think even in the last year's budget, we had in there for reserve targets, over $750,000. And that reserve target was really to help support the acquisition of St. Louis Landing's parcel. We can work to work back to that number. If you would like to, I mean, that gives us opportunities for future land acquisition. After St. Louis Landing, we will be budgeting for that every year. And, you know, unless, if we have a good opportunity come up for land, I think we can always have a good conversation about where to pull funds from for that. But after that, as we kind of look to transition out the public works facilities, we can see this being our next phase unless we get a new opportunity for a parcel. But our financial policies, I did check those, and they don't require us to have. I think it's been whatever's been wanted to be put in as a committed reserve target in the budget. It hasn't been covered in our financial policies for that. I think it's typically a year-to-year type of thing based on whatever the board really wants to see. If we want to pursue looking for some new land opportunities, then we can definitely look at beefing that number back up. But I would recommend keeping that about where it's at right now, until we kind of get the phase one of St. Louis Landing buttoned up, and then we obviously have the phase two that we have to work through as well.
It was sent out earlier today. Yeah.
Got property management for Amtrak station. Is that, we're gonna be spending some money on that? Since all of a sudden we got a lot of trains coming.
We don't own the Amtrak station. We have talked about, because of like the new train that'll be coming through for expanded days of service. We actually talked earlier today and previously about looking at some marketing opportunities that we could use that space for. And seeing what we could put there. See
I
if we
mean,
could put,
the building that Ron Anderson owns?
or no, we're talking about the station itself.
Okay.
The
The
building,
platform? Just-
right, the platform. Um, we talked earlier today about maybe having some kind of enclosed kind of billboard area that, you know, Sarah could have a key for, and she could put in some things like, you know, trivia or karaoke night or something like that, you know, at local businesses or something, and kind of advertise what's going on in Fraser. We could have a QR code for explorefraser.com there and kind of a poster for that stuff. But as far as maintenance goes, um,
What about fixing the street?
oh, we haven't expended any funds for maintenance for the Amtrak station.
It's not.
It's not ours.
Amtrak, really?
It's not ours,
But
it's
we've
Amtrak,
ever,
so
they've never
Amtrak
allowed
has
us
to
to
expend
paint it,
funds.
because that was a big
Not
deal.
ours. Oh, to paint it?
Yeah, they never.
It's,
They haven't, we've notified them about the heaters the last 2 winters.
are
And
they
it's-
still not
it-
working?
It's just a phone number to somebody down in Denver.
Mhm.
But we did read yesterday during the comp plan, one of the meetings we had, the government liaison for the entire western half of the United States. So about the heaters.
And Paul, we don't have any ownership of the actual building. That's all between Ron Anderson and Amtrak.
It's all Ron Anderson and Amtrak.
I talked to Ron Anderson. He was talking about their improvements. They'll be doing improvements to replace the ADA ramp and making all that concrete radiant heating so that it'll shed the snow, melt the snow. And they'll add one staircase. I think remove the farthest
Yeah, the
southern.
southernmost 2 loading areas are gonna move to the north. So they're gonna move it away from Eisenhower. And they're doing a bunch of new staircase. Another handicap ramp possibly, I believe, down by the park, and then a bunch of under drains and drainage that's gonna drain down to St. Louis Creek. The only involvement we really have is when they go into Railroad Avenue and put handicap striping for that crossing. They just need an access permit. The rest of it's all in the railroads right away. So they're currently in final design with the railroad, I believe.
The last thing that we actually got their attention on is when the steps were like kind of broken in a little bit, being a safety issue, and they responded to that fairly quickly.
Is this an opportunity to talk to them about sidewalks in that area? I wouldn't think they'd want their customers taking their luggage down the street in the snow.
Think they're at
I mean-
review of their 90% plans currently, so
Well,
probably.
I'm not even thinking that we want to alter their plans. We want permission to do it ourselves.
Uh,
And they seem to be the obstacle. So if
Yeah.
we're in talks with them, is that something we should be pursuing?
My
Um,
intention is to put the sidewalks on the eastern side
Yeah,
of, well, we own that, so we
okay.
would be pursuing hopefully safe route to schools grant in 26 again, after CDOT said that ours wasn't expensive enough to warrant all the headache of federal money. So we didn't have time in 10 days to pull together a bunch more sidewalk designs. So the intention is to get sidewalk along railroad on the eastern side.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping to hear.
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought the railroad was the obstacle, so. If we own it, great.
All right.
That's about all the big changes, except, well, I was trying to remember. We did do for, the Downtown Development Authority. Not sure if we had quite gotten to all of the updates on that one at the very, very, very bottom. Downtown Development Authority, they have submitted their, the very last page, page 11. That's their proposed budget, their taxes that they're anticipating receiving. Possibly a little bit of a carry forward, a little unassigned fund balance after they get done this year with what they're going to spend. And so that's been updated since the DDA meeting.
And that budget will be discussed on the agenda tonight.
I was gonna say, it looks familiar. Okay. Any other questions?
I'm just on tour, but the page two. Salary for town board, 40,000. Seems kind of.
It, in-
Planning.
it includes all of the boards.
Oh, okay.
That's everybody. So planning, DDA, everybody that gets a stipend for attending meetings, that's everybody.
And we don't pay the DDA, but
Oh, we don't.
planning commission, public
Public Arts
Committee.
Commission and town board.
Well, I didn't.
Right.
No. So we get paid quarterly, or how's that work? I mean,
Quarterly, yeah. The there was just kind of a crisscross of Antoinette out of town and Becky needing some information, and Becky had surgery and things, so we're a little behind, but we're gonna get on the next payroll, which is next week. We're gonna get everybody caught up. So that'll be for the third quarter, and then you'll get another one fourth quarter in January. So rolling along, but we'll get there.
Draft comes in.
All right. Well, thanks, Lori.
Bet.
Guess we'll wrap the workshop early. Go get
So-
some dinner.
Yeah, a lot of these things were discussed with these different projects and kind of showing you how they can work in our budget. We had a good discussion with Paul Bacchus, who was our auditor, and picked his brain about our current financial policies and our financial position. Had some good discussion. Over the last, even from 2023, from the audit amount, we had a
Oh.
$1.3 million, I think, contribution to our cash fund balance. In the last several years, we've had, I don't know what the total is, but I think about 4 million
Mhm.
that has been added to our cash balance. So we kind of talked to him about a little bit about our cash balance on things, and is it too much? Is it a lot? Is it conservative? Is it not enough? Had a good discussion with him. Again, if you're budgeting too aggressively, that's part of their scope of work, is to provide recommendations to pull back a little bit. Like, we need to focus more on reserves and some cash balance in your bank account. But he said that we're in a really good position to look at getting after some projects. And most larger cities will have about 25 to 35% of their planned next year's budget in cash, because they're expecting revenues coming in through sales tax and different things. For smaller communities like ours, especially like Western Slope communities, 50 to 100% is a good cash amount to keep on. And we've been having about 200% of cash for our budget in our checking and in our savings account. So we're proposing a budget. When you account for the $6.5 million in grants and the $1 million in deferred projects, it's really about $2 million more than what's normally been budgeted for. From our previous budgets, we never actually get to expend the full amount. So he said it's a really good opportunity if Fraser really wants to pursue some projects, is that we're well positioned for it. So that was a meeting that myself and Lori had with Paul, and that's reflected to a small degree in this budget. And as when you see the budget numbers for in the general fund, you know, and you look at the years past, those numbers are always larger. You'll see the 2024 budget was just over 12 million. And you look at the 2023 audited budget, it was higher than that number, but that's what we ended up. Because you transfer that whatever you don't spend in a budget year, you roll forward to the next year. So that's what's before you. I've talked to staff, had good conversations with Paul and Sarah, and who are really looking to push forward some of these projects, and they feel confident we can get these in. This again will come to the board on November 20th for final approval for the budget, and if the board is comfortable with that, then we'll be looking for like the church, for example, for that phase 1 of getting that RFP, because we already have the construction documents for that ready to go. DOA did those year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And we'd be looking at getting that RFP. We would shoot for some time in January to get that out and try to get that lined up. Work with the rec district on a good window for when we can do that, so we're not interrupting the programming much. But that's really the one additional major capital project that we have folded into this budget.
Anything else, anybody?
Okay.
That's years since I've seen that.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? It's a red flag.
Magic fingers.
All right, thanks, Lori.
You bet.
Let's take a break. Back at 6.
I'm good.